Today I want to talk to you about all the really cool and unique South African plants that you can grow in coastal California. Like, these things are amazing, and I got a few rare ones and a few more common ones, but they're just such a breeze to grow, and I highly recommend you grow anything and everything from South Africa. First, I want to start with, I'm Gardener Koo, and this is Nacho and Freya. And first we're going to start with Strelitzia juncea, or this is a bird of paradise. Now, I know you've seen the normal bird of paradise, but this one's a lot different. It has no leaves, so it just looks like a reed, and it gets these double-flowered heads, which are really cool. And they actually last for about a couple months. They just keep putting up new florets here, and it just stays and keeps going and going and going. So these guys are really easy to grow. You just want to give them full sun, good drainage. The one thing you do want to be very careful about is gophers love these. They think they're delicious, so always plant in a gopher basket. So this next one I want to talk about is Leucadendron Ebony. Now, leucadendrons are usually grown for their flower, but I'm growing this one for its leaf. It has just this beautiful dark burgundy leaf color, and they last for weeks in a vase. Leucadendrons you want to be very careful with in one aspect. You don't want to fertilize them. They will glut on the phosphorus and die. But that makes your life easy. They don't need any fertilization whatsoever. You do want to give them full sun to part sun, and you want to give them good drainage. They don't like wet feet. Other than that, you just plant them and forget them. They're great. So I forgot to mention on the Leucadendron and the Strelitzia, they both get 4 to 6 feet tall and about 4 feet wide. So plant accordingly in your garden. This next one is not going to be that small. This is Aloe barberae, or the tree aloe. This guy gets to about 20 feet tall in California, but in the wild it can actually get up to like 30 feet tall. Just makes such a giant striking statement. I cannot recommend it enough. As a tree, it just looks like nothing else, honestly. It gets this beautiful like papery bark, and they just start to branch out, and it just looks so like geometric, I would say. Anyways, you want to be very careful when you're planting these because they can rot out pretty easily. I planted this one the first time, and it rotted out in like about 6 months, and that's because I didn't use enough cactus mix below. So after that, I just dug it all out, dug the whole area out, like a 4 by 4 foot area, filled it with cactus mix, and now it's just thriving, and it went through a very wet winter just fine. I highly recommend doing this one. It is a striking statement piece, especially if you put some landscape uplighting on it at night. Go for it. All right, next to my miniature king protea, which I talked about in an early video, also from South Africa, we have this beautiful blooming perennial Arctotis. Now, I've been left behind on this one. The name changed, I think, twice since I used to work in the nursery, so I will put the name here for you. This guy likes full sun and good soil and regular water. You can get away with poor soil as long as it has good drainage, and if you don't want a ton of flowers, you don't need to give it regular water. Now, it is such an easy one to grow. You can propagate it super, super simply. So you just grab a branch. Oops, grabbed a lot there. And then, so as long as you have some stem, then you're just going to pull off all the leaves, and then you can just plant that, and that'll grow. I propagated this guy a ton of times that way. Now, you do want to be careful. The gophers do seem to like it, so I do recommend cages if you're going to do it that way. But I don't know if a lot of people know just how many plants come from South Africa. It is kind of the plant mecca. It definitely is for me. Freesias come from there, pelargoniums come from there, even gladiolas. There's just so much in our gardens already, calla lilies, that comes from South Africa, and no one knows that it's there. All right, so this one I'm not recommending, but if you have like a neglected spot that you need to put a plant, you can use Aloe maculata, or the soap aloe. Now this guy is a bit invasive, so it keeps spreading by little underground runners. It's basically like mint, but it is like stunningly spectacular, and these flowers just last forever. And they have really cool leaf molting, I don't know how to say that word, pattern. Just, they're stunning. But like, I've had maybe a few of these when we moved in, and they just keep replicating, and I have to keep weeding them out over and over and over again. Water, they don't need any, or at least I haven't watered them, and in 9 years. And you just want to be sure they have good drainage with all aloes. So for my last and final plant is Leucospermum cordifolia, or the pincushion flower. I absolutely adore this flower. This is the one plant I would grow if I could only grow one plant. I love it that much. It gets these really unique orange flowers with all these little calyxes, and they're so easy to grow. They require very low water, so they're great for our California dry ecosystems. And they also make a really great cut flower. These can last like 3 to 4 weeks in a vase, as long as you're good about changing the water. And they are so easy to grow except for one major problem. You want to be careful not to fertilize them. So these are phosphorus eaters basically, so they will just eat as much phosphorus as they can until it actually kills them. And that's why you see I have a new plant here. I accidentally fertilized it. These guys are just so great. They grow on Table Mountain, which is my personal mecca, and it's just such a fun place to visit and hike and see all the Leucospermums, the aloes, the Leucadendrons, all of them just blooming and growing in the wild. Anyways, I'm Gardener Koo. Nacho's off somewhere, and go get your hands dirty.